It's important for us to have this category because some of us can think that every non-Christian we meet is going to be just obviously nasty and seething and despicable and just as soon spit at you as shake your hand, and they're going to have tattoos of 666 all over the place, and that's what they're like. But it's not the case, and all of us can bear witness to that. We know in our families, in our schools, in our places of work, we all know non-Christians. Maybe you're here this morning and you're not a Christian. And we know people who, they don't know Jesus, but they're decent, they're upright, they're even religious and devout. And we like them, just like the Jewish people liked Cornelius. Now, it's important that you have this category for people like Cornelius in your life, because if you don't, one of two things is going to happen. Either we as Christians will end up treating very poorly non-Christians, because we'll just assume, well, they must be just absolutely as nasty as they can possibly be, and so we'll be fearful, and we won't dare to learn anything from them or see anything good in them. That would be very unlike Jesus. The second danger, if we don't have this category for Cornelius-type people, we'll go out, and someday when we go and we move somewhere, or we go to a school, or we get a job, we're going to meet some absolutely wonderful non-Christian people. And suddenly we're going to feel like we need to change our whole theology. And maybe people really aren't totally depraved, and maybe original sin, and maybe people don't really need a Savior, because I just assumed that, well, Christians were good people-ish, and non-Christians were just really, really bad. And if I was hanging out with non-Christians, it would be just patently obvious that all of them are just as dark can be. But then you have people like Cornelius. And all of the Jewish people, they held him in high esteem. There is more than one biblical way to look at a person. It is true. In one sense, everyone is either an enemy of Christ or a friend of God. You get down to the human heart, you're either in rebellion to God and His Word, or you've submitted yourself. And that's true. This text gives us another angle to look at the human person, and that is someone like Cornelius, who by God's restraining grace is actually quite a decent fellow. Honorable, devout, call it what you want, natural theology or God's restraining grace or common grace. But we have to be able to understand and look at people from equally biblical theological angles, so that when you go into your world or into your classroom or into your place of work or into your non-Christian family or back to your country of origin, you can understand, look, there are some people here who are really bad and nasty, and then there are some people who are like Cornelius, and they need Jesus just as much as the bad, nasty people. But by God's grace, they're honest, they're honorable, they're decent, they're devout, they're sincere, just like Cornelius.